So just letting the feet rest nice and gently on the floor, and just letting the shoulders wriggle, relax. Maybe take a couple of deep breaths where you sigh your breath out through your mouth and you just let yourself arrive, like you're kind of shrugging off the outside world, all the drama, all the stress. You can close your eyes if you want to. You might want to keep them open, but just take them off out the window or away from the screen. And then just choosing to either rest your attention on your breath gently or choosing to rest your attention on another sensation in your body if that feels better for you. And just as though you're just pulling up a chair and sitting down with your breath or sitting down with a particular sensation. Just allowing it to be however it is in the moment. Maybe you feel a bit curious, maybe you feel like, well, there's nothing new there, and that's all right. But just get a little bit acquainted with whatever sensation you've decided to land on today. And that may or may not just give you a little bit of feedback based on how you are feeling today in body or in mind or a bit of both. And any of that feedback that we get, we can use to inform how we do something today, how we move, what we choose to do and what we choose not to, so that we're really taking care of ourselves. We're actually going to start with a breathing exercise today, using the hands, like we've been using the hands in a few different ways in the last weeks as a way of anchoring our concentration and our focus. We're going to do that now. This is a different exercise. You may well have done it before elsewhere because it's quite a common or popular breathing exercise. With just one of your hands, you're going to trace with your other finger, pointing finger probably, but it might be another one. I'll come up just close to you a minute. So I will describe and then we'll have a go together. So we trace up and down the fingers, but slowly in time with the breath. So for example, I'd start here at the base of the thumb and I breathe in all the way up to the tip of the thumb. And then when I'm ready to breathe out, I'm going to draw my finger down the inside of the thumb. And then I breathe in and I go up the next finger. I breathe out and I go down that side of the finger. And then when we get to the little finger, we're just going to take it back the way we came. Yeah?
Yeah.
A go. So it doesn't matter which hand is doing what. And of course, if the actual movement of tracing isn't feeling good for you, you can just imagine it. You can imagine that you're tracing up the fingers and down the fingers if you want to. So just as relaxed as we can in the body, eyes closed or eyes open, whenever you're ready, just starting that journey. And we really want that tracing finger to stay in time with the breath. So if you find that your finger is getting to the top of your finger before your breath is finished, you're going to slow that trace of the finger down. And we've got some fingers that are longer than others, so those breaths might be a bit longer. Just a really light touch, doesn't have to be forceful, don't have to press. And it's likely that we might at some point forget what we're doing or end up redoing a finger because our mind's wandered off. That doesn't matter at all. When you realise, if you realise that you've wandered off, just go, oh yeah, come back, find my finger, trace my finger and breathe.
Do you have to change hands, Meg?
Oh, you can if you want. So you could get to the little finger and then carry on the other hand, but you can just go back the way you came. Doesn't matter at all. Whatever you fancy. So wherever you are on your hand, maybe get to the end of that hand. So if you're moving in the direction of your little finger, keep going until you get to the little finger. If you're moving back in the direction of your thumb, until you get to the thumb. And then when you get to that point, there's no rush, just taking your time. Just let that go. Just let the hands relax. And let your breath just find it's normal again. And that's normal's a funny word. I don't particularly like it in lots of ways, but our normal. And just reminding you that our normal or my normal or your normal will be different every day. But finding your normal for the moment where your breath is just sort of as effortless as is normal and comfortable for you. Brill. How did we find that? Was it tricky? Was it helpful?
Very helpful, I thought.
What do you think?
Oh, nice. So what we might do then is do a little bit of moving, and then when we come back to the end, we might just try that again, just to see if there's any sort of change in focus, or whether perhaps the breath feels different, whether we feel more sort of connected and in tune to that exercise. Our mind might be less likely to be a bit floaty. We'll just have a go, but we'll come back to it at the end after we've moved a little bit. Okay, lovely jubbly. Right, so if we had our eyes closed, you might just want to start to blink them open so you can see what we're doing next. Lovely. So using the back support if you need it for your chair, or maybe just coming towards the edge of your seat, but so that your bum's still supported and the feet are underneath the knees. You choose your position that's comfy. So we're going to just bring our hands together at the center of the chest. So you could bring hands like this in like a prayer position, or you could just bring your hands to your chest like this, hands on the body, up to you. We're going to just bring in a little bit of a twist to start with. We're going to keep our spine nice and tall if we can, and we're going to try and keep our hands in the middle of our chest. We're going to breathe in, see if you can sit a little bit taller and prouder, and then as you exhale with shoulders relaxed, we're going to turn our spine gently to the left. And you're just going to take your gaze softly over towards that left shoulder, and then we're going to inhale, and we're going to bring it back. Lovely. And then we're going to exhale, take it over to the right. Gently turn the head and inhale and bring everything back to the middle. Lovely. Next time, just as an experiment, because I kind of want to show you why we're bringing our hands to our center of our chest. Next time, allow yourself to twist and move your hands over to the left so they sort of twist with you. So the reason that sometimes when we twist will encourage us to keep our hands in the center of our chest is so that more of the twist, you can come back, is coming from the spine. So you may or may not have felt that when we twisted and then moved the hands over, lots of that twist was actually in my shoulders rather than my spine, because my hands were able to sort of keep going and I was sort of moving my shoulders around, which might feel nice for some of us, might not feel nice for others, but we're really trying to get the spine to mobilize. So by keeping the hands in the middle, more of the movements coming from the spine. What it does mean is that we might find that we can't twist as far without that momentum of the hands and the shoulders, but that's all right. So we'll do just a couple more on each side, just going at your pace, inhaling nice and tall in the middle, and then exhaling into that really gentle twist. Inhaling and coming back to the center. And exhaling and turning it away. Really, really nice. So one more on either side if that's feeling okay, but knowing that you can rest sooner if you need to. They look great, everyone. Brilliant. And then when you come back to the middle, just relax your hands and just have a little wriggle of your spine. Just maybe draw a little circle with your ribs, because all that sort of tall sitting and twisting might feel like things are just a little achy. And then just go the other way, just have a little wriggle in the opposite direction. Lovely, really, really nice. Now this time, hands are gonna stay on the legs, so palms down on the legs. You can take your feet a bit wider, start to be wider so that we've got a bit more room in the middle for the body if you want to. We're gonna start tall, and then we're gonna slide the hands towards the knees and just gently tip forward into the front of the pelvis, allowing your spine just to fold a little and take your gaze down towards the floor. Try not to bring your chin all the way to the chest, but keep the eyes looking straight down rather than looking underneath your chin. Good, and then start to slide back up. Hands come up the thighs, and then the rest of your spine just really uncurls slowly, with your head being the last bit to come up. Really nice. Now just kind of mindful about how slow we move down and how slow we move up. If you just want to inch a little bit forward and not take your gaze towards the floor, that might be a nice option for those of us who struggle with like dizziness, lightheadedness, changes in blood pressure. You can always keep your gaze forward as you slide towards the knees rather than bringing your eyes down. That might be nice. And then again, the slower the better if we do have a tendency to feel that dizziness or that shift in position. So really slow, only taking it as far forward as you feel safe and comfy. So we're just going to keep rolling forward and rolling back a couple more times. We are still keeping our bum in our chair, but we will feel that the weight of our body shifts a bit further forward into the front of the pelvis. Obviously, don't go so far forward that you feel like you're going to tip. You want to feel safe, not like you're going to fall out your chair. But we're just getting a really gentle sort of release through the back of the body. So letting your spine hinging from the hips, and the spine is folding forward. Lovely. And this last one, you might move with your breath if you haven't been doing already. So inhaling as you sit up tall, exhaling as you fold it gently forward. And we're using the legs for support. So the legs are taking a little bit of weight there. So our spine has got some support. It's not just going to hang. And when you're ready again to roll up, taking that big breath in. And maybe as you roll all the way up to upright, sitting back into the chair and just letting everything hang out for a minute. Just soft, relaxed and heavy. And just let your spine soften. Wonderful. I'm going to just demo our next movement. So while you're just having a little rest or a sip of tea or whatever, just have a little watch. Jackie L, is it both your shoulders, remind me, or is it one, lovely?
Left, really.
Your left, okay.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to give you a modification in a minute if you need it, okay? So we're going to widen our feet a little bit. Toes can turn out, so they're sort of just tracking in the same direction as your knees. And then we're going to just take one arm across towards our opposite knee. So we're having a little twist. And if you can't reach the knee, you might be reaching the thigh, or you might be reaching the crease in between your sort of tummy and your hip. Doesn't really matter, but there's a sense of a gentle twist and a slight reach of the shoulder. Now, obviously, shoulders dependent. If your shoulder is really happy, you might be happy to reach for the knee. Again, if you're taking care of the shoulder, maybe just reaching it sort of to that hip crease feels better. And maybe even smaller than that, you could just aim to twist your torso in the direction of your knee, but keep your shoulder where it is. And then we're going to move from that position to sit up tall. And this is where, Jackie, I'm going to give you a variation. I don't want you to do this with your shoulder, even if it probably is, whether it's possible or not, we're not going to do this one. But for those of you who are happy shoulders today, we're going to just see if we can take the hand behind the back of the chair or behind our back. So obviously, if you're in a nice big thick backed armchair, you're not going to be able to reach behind it. And if you just reach your hand behind your back, you might just tap the back of your hand against the back or the back of your chair. So we're actually moving the shoulder internally when we do that movement, which is for some of us a difficult movement, or it's one that we don't use as much in sort of general life. We're often opening the shoulders, maybe reaching, catching, but that internal rotation, maybe you're not quite as familiar. So if it feels good, like you're happy there, your shoulder's safe, and that you feel like nothing's pinching, tweaking, then that's amazing. If we're trying to care for that shoulder, then we're going to just slightly change it. We're going to twist slightly, reaching towards the thigh or the knee. And then as we come back, rest the hands shoulder in neutral. And then you're just going to gently turn your head away from that shoulder. So more of a neck stretch gently, and maybe a slight stretch in the top of that shoulder muscle, that trapezius muscle. But we're not doing the internal rotating. Does that feel and sound okay?
Yes, that's good. Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's start with our reaching towards our right leg. So wherever we are, let's reach across. And so you'll feel that sort of twist. You can reach a bit further down that leg if you like. You can sit a bit further forward. And just try and take a couple of deep breaths into that left side of your body and into your tummy. Good. And then on your next breath in, whenever it comes, you're going to slowly sit up nice and tall. Some of you might take that hand around, and the back of the hand might just tap the chair or tap your back. There might be some of you that rest that shoulder and you gently turn your head to the right. Again, we're taking a couple of breaths in each shape, and then we're just bringing everything back to the middle, to that starting position. Lovely. So again, whenever you're ready, we'll go back to that towards that right knee, hip, thigh. Trying to deepen the breath just a little bit. It's hard when you do a twisty movement to breathe a bit deeply, because you squish all the bits in the middle. And then when you're ready, we'll inhale as we sit up really tall, relaxing the shoulder and taking the head off to the right, or gently bringing your hand behind your back. Those of you who are here with me, you can also turn your head gently to the right if that feels okay. Or you can keep your gaze straight forward. You can pick the elements that you want and leave the ones that you don't, or add everything together. Really, really nice. Let's do one more, providing we feel happy, knowing that we can rest even if everyone else is doing something different. Using that inhale to bring us up tall. Lovely, really nice, everyone. So really like moving with care. And not necessarily making huge, big movements with the body today. You might feel a bit more subtle, but they're still valuable. And then we'll release and bring everything back to the middle, nice and gently. And then again, just do that same little sort of circle of your ribs. So like you're kind of, I don't know, if you were trying to hula hoop sitting down, if that was possible, then maybe this would look like this. I don't know. I can't hula hoop when I'm standing up, so I wouldn't really know. And then go the other way, just sort of so that if there's any stiffness that's creeping in, we can just sort of give the body that reminder that we can soften and breathe and just let it relax whenever we want it to. Lovely, really, really nice. And so the other side, we're prepared, we're ready for the body to feel really different or very similar or somewhere in between on the opposite side of the body. Again, just reminding us that our normal on this side and this side may be really off balance. So just going in with that kind of gentleness and being curious rather than thinking that it has to be the same or it has to feel the same. So we'll take our right hand over towards that left leg. So you're sliding towards the knee or a little bit beyond the knee if you want, any amount, or you're not sliding at all, but you're just bringing that twist through the torso. Taking a couple of breaths, and it's the inhale that brings us back upright. And we start to take maybe the back of that right hand gently behind the body or behind the back of the chair. Or maybe just the head turns gently to the left. Maybe you add in the shoulder and the neck. It's entirely up to you. And in each shape, before we release back to the starting position, we're just trying to take probably at least 2 nice full breaths in and out. So we're going to do 3 on this side. Don't worry about being in time with anyone else. Just finding your breath at your pace. And if things feel nice, you can stay there a little bit longer. You can add in just any little kind of amounts of wiggling that feel good in those shapes. There's other movements that feel like organic to just pop in alongside these. You can do that too.
Apologies for my neighbours.
I didn't hear them, Hazel, actually. If that was Hazel, I think it was. Yeah, I didn't hear anything. It's funny, isn't it? I always sometimes, because we live on quite a busy road. Well, it's only little, but it's busy enough. And when like motorbikes or something go past, I'm always like really conscious when I'm teaching. I'm like, go away, shut up. I don't know. You might not be able to hear it. I don't know, but I'm always aware. But then sometimes I don't even think it even goes through to your end. So when you've done your 3-ish, I'm going to say 3-ish because we lose count, right? On that side, you're just going to come back to resting. And maybe that little rib circle feels nice. Maybe it's a few shoulder sides that feel good here, lifting them gently towards your ears. And then gently softening them down. So you choose. You might do a little rib wiggle and a shoulder lift at the same time. It's a bit like that, isn't it? Or you might just find a different way to have a wriggle that feels good for you. It's entirely up to you. I've lost you on my big screen. My screensaver's come on. That's not very good, is it? There you go. Amazing. And then just sitting back into the chair, relaxing everything, letting your tummy muscles relax if you can. And that sometimes feels hard because often they're the kind of muscles that we hold on to without necessarily always knowing that we're doing it. Especially, sort of lots of us grow up with that narrative of having to hold your tummy in all the time, which is quite grim in my opinion. So you just let it relax. And maybe even just bring your hands on your tummy if that feels comfortable. And just take a couple of breaths and see if you can breathe into your hands. So by saying, I'm trying to get you to breathe a bit more deeply into your tummy. So ideally, let's try and really feel the sort of tummy swell into the hands as you breathe in. Then as we breathe out, the hands will just move a little bit further down or closer to your spine as your belly sort of deflates. Really nice. Well done, everyone. Taking one more nice deep breath like that. And then letting it go however suits you. All the way. Nice. And then you can maybe sit back up if you like, or flip back forward. It's up to you. We're going to just extend one leg a little bit. So if you just have a look, my legs are still slightly turned out. My toes are slightly turned out. My hips are slightly open. I'm just going to straighten slightly through my right leg. I'm going to shift a bit further. Now I haven't locked out that right knee. I'm going to keep quite a generous bend in it. You can see it there. And then I'm going to pick up my toes so that my foot is flexed and my heel is on the floor. Beautiful. Now just check that you feel stable still on your bum, especially if you've moved forward to the front of your chair a little bit. Don't be feeling like you're going to tip forward or tip off the side. Make sure you still feel comfy. And if you've got something to the side of you, you could use that maybe to sort of help you stay more stable. So we're just going to start to gently stretch through the back of our hamstring, the backs of our thighs, and maybe a little bit through the lower legs as well. So that leg that we've extended, we're just going to take a gentle scooch down that leg with the right hand. Oh, sorry, if it's the right leg, it's the right hand. And then slide it back up whenever you're ready. So this is why we want to feel stable, because we are leaning forward a little bit more in this one. So you want to make sure that you still feel safe, like you're not going to fall off your chair. And we're keeping that leg really active by pulling the toes back towards us, by keeping that knee bent, protecting the joints from that overstretching, which is sometimes quite easy to do. So just because you might sort of see other people doing a movement like this and sort of think, oh, we're trying to touch our toes. Lots of us might be able to touch our toes, but we know that actually if we are living with hypermobility, then you might not need to touch your toes, and actually it might be better not to reach as far as your toes if that's you who might be a toe toucher. Good. Just flatten that foot, bring that foot back down to the floor, and then just really softly, just let that knee of your right leg just sort of windshield wipe right to left a little bit. And then what you might do at the same time as you're doing that is let your foot roll to the inside and then roll to the outside. So you're kind of just picking up one side of your foot as your knee gently moves inwards, and picking up the inside of your foot as your hip moves outwards. Lovely. Good. And then that foot can rest fully and completely on the floor. And we'll switch sides. So left leg, just starting to extend that leg a little. Heel in, digging into the floor as the toe pulls back. We've got a nice bend in that knee. So it's less bent than our other leg, but we're avoiding this really locked out straight position. And then whenever you're ready, you're just going to take that leg slide, making sure that you feel stable in your seat. You can always hold on with your other hand to the bottom of your chair if that feels doable. Kind of so you've got a bit of leverage, something else to hold on to. Just sliding gently down that leg a little bit. And don't worry about breathing at a particular point here, just breathing when you need to breathe. letting the mind just not focus quite so intently on controlling your breath, letting it have a little bit of freedom. So maybe one more leg slide. Ooh. And as you let that foot flatten back down and the knee bend a little bit more, maybe potentially this left hip just starts to move out slightly and then in slightly. Again, if you're particularly mobile at the joints of your hips, try and contain your movement. So try not to go to the extremes or the limits, but just keep that movement a little contained. And then maybe just bring in that rock of the feet. So you're rolling towards the outer edge of your foot. And then roll in through the foot and then roll in towards the inner arch. Really lovely. Good. And then just letting that rest. If you want to, just one more time in a minute, you can do both knees at a time in that same windscreen wiper motion. I'm going to bring my feet a little bit further, more parallel this time. And I'm going to just do that a couple of times left to right. If you want to take your gaze gently to the right, just move to the left. So you're kind of knees going one way and your gaze going gently towards the other. You can be using that nice foot roll if that feels nice underneath the feet, or you can keep your feet more firmly on the ground. Nice for the hips and nice for the bum. Quite nice for the lower back as well. Lower back just gets to relax in its movement a bit more. Good. And next time you come through the middle, let the feet plant down. Have a little rock on your bum, left to right, like you're rocking from hip to hip. And you might use that movement to sort of shimmy yourself a bit further back into your chair, where you might fully rest the weight of your body back, or you might move now to a comfier chair or to lay on your back. So we're going to come back to those finger traces, just probably one, we might do one hand's worth. So we might just trace from thumb to little finger and then back to thumb. You can take it or leave it. So if you just prefer to let the hands rest and just breathe, you can, or you can, whenever you're ready, bring one finger of one hand to the base of the opposite thumb. And when you're ready, inhale, start to trace towards the top. So just like we did before. It's really gently and mindfully slowing your breath, grounding yourself in your body. Taking your time. How often in life are we on a time schedule, or we're rushing, or we've got time limitations? It's really one of the most lovely things if you can attend, any types of classes that are for you, for your well-being, for your pleasure, for joy, is that feeling of not having to be on the clock in that time period. You're not having to rush, you're not having to go at anyone's pace but your own. When we get back to the thumb, Finding a place for your hands and your arms to rest. You might want to close your eyes just gently. And this next couple of minutes is where we just take a little bit of quiet, just to let everything that we've done sort of really settle in the body. Like you shake a snow globe and then you pop it down on the side. You watch it for a little while, don't you? And then everything gradually, all the snow settles. But for a while, it's all busy and flurrying. Think of this as your snow globe moment, where all the flurry, all the movement is able to land, and the benefits are able to land where you need them the most in the body or the mind. Just letting your body be as heavy as you can. Try not to hold back or hold on to any of your weight, knowing that the chair's fully got you, fully supported. Really trying to tell the brain that in this moment we can let go of the tension that we've got control of. That doesn't mean that all the tension will go. Sometimes there's tension for other reasons, but just do what we can. And then if you want to, just bringing into your mind something to be grateful for today. Maybe imagine what it looks like, how it would look if it was right there in front of you. Perhaps it is right there in front of you, I don't know. Maybe how it smells, how it sounds, how it makes you feel inside. Just imagine you could just breathe in that